We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid, we are not afraid, we are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we are not afraid today. The truth shall make us free, the truth shall make us free, the truth shall make us free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe the truth shall make us free someday. We shall live in peace, we shall live in peace, we shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall live in peace someday. We'll walk hand in hand, we'll walk hand in hand, we will walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we'll walk hand in hand someday. We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday.
To begin this auspicious occasion, let us invoke the divine blessings of the Almighty with the prayer song, Make Me a Channel of Your Peace.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace.
Thank you, and please be seated. A pleasant evening to one and all present. On behalf of Indian School Darsit, we take this opportunity to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Mrs. Ashwini Savrikar, Finance Director, Board of Directors, Sultanate of Oman. Mr. Sebastian Chungat, President, School Management Committee. Mrs. Blessy Diana Shijin, Vice President, School Management Committee. Mr. Ajit Vasudevan, Convener, School Management Committee. Dr. Kurian Abraham, Treasurer, School Management Committee. And other esteemed members of the School Management Committee. Mr. Amar Srivastav, Principal. Mrs. Geeta Chauhan, Vice Principal. Dr. Jacob Pratap Raj, Assistant Vice Principal, Operations. Coordinators, heads of departments, council in charges, house councillors, teachers, dear parents, and our newly elected office bearers, to the Investiture Ceremony of Indian School Dasit for the academic year 2022-23.
As rightly said, integrity, insight, and inclusiveness are the three essential qualities of leadership. The Investiture Ceremony is one of the momentous occasions where the school entrusts its newly elected members of the Student Council with their roles and responsibilities. The ceremony signifies the reliance and confidence the school conceals in them. It gives students an opportunity to take charge of the school and be a part of its journey to fulfill its mission of being the most preferred Indian school in Oman. With their leadership, decision-making skills, and teamwork. In addition to planning events, they contribute to school spirit and community welfare. The Student Council is the voice of the student body.
Light symbolizes knowledge. Knowledge removes ignorance as light dispels the darkness. It's my honor to request our chief guest, Mrs. Ashwini Savrikar, Finance Director, Board of Directors, Mr. Sebastian Chungat, President, School Management Committee, Mrs. Blessy Diana Shijin, Vice President, School Management Committee, Mr. Ajit Vasudevan, Convener, School Management Committee, Dr. Kurian Abraham, Treasurer, School Management Committee, Principal and Vice Principal, to light the lamp and inaugurate the program.
Thank you, sirs and ma'ams. Kindly be seated. A school student council was elected after rigorous processes, including democratic procedures. And today, these young leaders are here to shoulder their responsibilities. To begin this solemn ceremony, I am privileged to invite our Vice Principal, Mrs. Geeta Chauhan, to deliver the welcome address.
If your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader. Esteemed chief guest of the day, honorable members of the School Management Committee, respected principal, administrators, heads of various departments, teachers, parents, and my dear student young leaders. A very good evening to one and all. On behalf of Indian School Dasit, it is my proud privilege to extend a hearty welcome to you all to this very momentous occasion, the Investiture Ceremony 22-23. Investiture Ceremony is one of the most prestigious occasions in the calendar of Indian School Dasit, as it marks the significant beginning of the new academic session. It is the first step we take in imparting leadership skills on the youngest administrators of our institution to imbibe them with the necessary skills so that they become independent decision makers in future, as it is rightly said that leaders are not born, they are made. On this solemn occasion, we are indeed very honored to have CA Ashwini Swarika, Finance Director, Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman, for presiding over as a chief guest of the day. Ma'am has 22 years of work experience in the finance industry in audit and risk areas. She is currently heading the internal audit and risk functions at Arabia Falcon Insurance Company in Oman for the last 10 years. In the past, she has worked with audit firms like Deloitte and KPMG in India, conducting various kinds of audits and information security reviews, as well as in Kotak Bank and JP Morgan Chase, India, in areas of information security and operations risk management, and then with Vision Investment Services in Oman in corporate finance. On the academic front, she is a chartered accountant from India. Ma'am is a certified internal audit from IIA USA and a certified information system auditor from ISSCA USA. She's also a CFA charter holder from US and holds a certification in operational risk management from UK. Ma'am is currently serving on the board of Indian Schools in Oman, representing the Indian ambassador to Oman, and is working as a finance director. She is a passionate singer and traveler and has traveled to 65 plus countries in the world, including Svalbard at the North Pole and Antarctica in the South. She is a regular singer and has performed in various singing forums and has a YouTube channel of her own. Ma'am, Indian School Dasit is very fortunate to have you with us this evening to our investiture ceremony, as it is an encouragement and inspiration to all the young students seated here to take up the challenge of the finest leadership qualities. On behalf of Indian School Dasit, I take this opportunity to welcome you, ma'am. Now I call upon M. Ramprasad of 5B and Haya Ashia Rafiq of 5A to welcome our chief guest with a potted plant. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting it. It is my proud privilege to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Sebastian Chungat, President of the School Management Committee, who is a constant source of encouragement for every activity the school has undertaken. Sir, your strong vision for the school has positively impacted and molded ISD to march great heights. A hearty welcome to you, sir. I am honored to welcome Mrs. Blessy Diana Sijin, Vice President of the School Management Committee. She is a multidimensional personality who has instilled her marvelous leadership qualities in contributing toward the success of ISD. Welcome to you, ma'am. I extend cordial welcome to Mr. Ajit Vasudevan, Convener, School Management Committee. Sir is a passionate leader and a selfless commitment, confidence, and competence has always uplifted the school to soar high. Welcome to you, sir. A warm welcome to Dr. Kurian Ibrahim, Head Finance and Planning Subcommittee, School Management Committee. Sir is well known for his fairness, diligence, and sound preparation for the well-being and functioning of school. Welcome, sir. May I also take this opportunity to welcome all of the esteemed members of the School Management Committee, Mr. Shama Shamshuddin, Mr. Vinod Kumar K, Mr. Nishan PP, Mr. Saji K, Mr. Shaliman Moeddin, Mr. Unikrishnan M.A., Mr. Vijaya Saranan Shankaran. Dear sirs and madams, your presence in our investiture ceremony is a source of inspiration for all young leaders seated here. I extend a hearty welcome to our beloved principal, Mr. Amar Srivastav, who always works tirelessly in planning for the betterment of the school and our students. Dear sir, with your vision, enthusiasm, and focus on all-round development of the students as they is soaring great heights, a warm welcome to you, sir. With all my affable greetings, I cordially welcome the Assistant Vice Principal Operations, Dr. Jacob Pratap Raj, coordinators, Mrs. Bindu Ranjit and Mrs. Shija Philip, heads of various departments, my dear teachers, who have always been proactive, hardworking, and dedicated. Also, a special word of welcome to the members of non-teaching staff who play a silent yet a vital role in growth of institution. It is a proud moment not only for the student leaders, but also for their parents who are here to encourage their children as they take the pledge of the office, which will provide them a platform to introspect into their roles as the leaders of tomorrow. On behalf of ISD, a warm welcome to you, dear parents. Dear children, a leader, according to its simplest definition, is someone who has the clarity to know the right things to do, the confidence to know they are wrong, and the courage to do the right things, even when they are hard. I am delightful to welcome you all to your ceremony and wish you all every success, that you will focus on doing your work without fear or favor and making a positive difference in the lives of your fellow students, above all, your alma mater. To conclude, I would like to reiterate that we at Indian School Dasait believe that these young students, leaders, are the visionaries and torchbearers of tomorrow, who will in turn help others rise, thus creating more leaders. Once again, I extend a note of hearty welcome to everyone gathered here and wish that today's ceremony leaves an indelible mark in your memory. Thank you and have a pleasant evening. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It's with utmost reverence I invite our principal, Mr. Amar Srivastav, to introduce the newly elected office bearers.
Chief guest of the evening, Mrs. Aswini Savrikar, the Finance Director, Board of Directors, Indian School in Oman. Mr. Sebastian Chungat, the President, School Management Committee. Mrs. Blessy Diana Srijan, Vice President, School Management Committee. Mr. Ajit Vasudevan, Convener, School Management Committee. Dr. Kurian Ibrahim, Treasurer, School Management Committee, and other esteemed members of the School Management Committee. My colleagues, my dear parents, and dear children, a very good evening to all of you. It is indeed my pleasure and privilege to announce the leaders of newly invested Investiture Ceremony Council members today. I will be reading out the names of Prefectorial Council of Indian School Dasait for the year 2022-23. Once I pronounce your name, You need to just stand up, and then you may take your seat. So I start with the head boy, Maganda Dinesh. Head girl, Bhavika Biju. Sports captain boys, John Adams Kurian. Sports captain girls, Bhavya Biju. Cultural secretary, Rebecca Ann Jacob. IT secretary, Nathaniel George Philip. Literary secretary, Aisha Nizar Hussain. Health, Safety and Environment secretary, Delvin Rochelle Lobo. Deputy head boy, Ashwath S. Nair. Deputy head girl, Nandana Mangalat Menon. Deputy sports captain boys, Abhyuday Koi Purial. Deputy sports captain, Rabia Khalid. Deputy cultural secretary, Angel Joseph Payatu. Deputy IT secretary, Abhi Jacob Vargish. Deputy literary secretary, Manaswi S. Praveen. Deputy Health, Safety and Environment Secretary, Adarsh Pradeep. Assistant head boy from class 5, M. Ram Prasad. Assistant head girl, Haya Aisha Rafiq. General prefix, Austin Sam Anil. Kavya Jayakumar Chitra. Yadu Krishna Balakrishnan. Amal Krishna. Anamika Baiju. Elizabeth Jizzi. Krishnapriya Manoj. Anavadya Rajesh. Archita Haridas. And Rushda Safwan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We move on with the introduction of the house prefects, vice captains, captains, and house coordinators. It's my privilege to invite Mr. Hari Krishnan P. and Mrs. Pranita Gopinath, house councillors of Papu House, to introduce the house prefects, vice captains, captains, and house coordinator of their house.
Good evening, everyone. It's my great privilege and honor to introduce the House Prefects, House Vice Captain, House Captain, and the House Coordinator of Bapu House for the academic year 2020-22-23. The House Prefects are Harita Jayaprakash, Tenil Binchu, Angel and Mountsy, Nachmal Raj Viju, Ashrita Ajit, K. Abhishek Deeban, Abhisha Batula, Arif Nasser, Aruni Krishna Kumar, Dennis P. Thomas, Anushri Krishna, Rufaik Hassan Ibrahim, R.J. Hashita, Abhinav K. Biju, Sneha Charian, and Anushri.
I'm extremely delighted to introduce the House Vice Captain, Aisha Salka Sakaria, House Captain A. Ramalakshmi, House Coordinator Fida Mariam Siad. Congratulations and all the best, dear children. Now, may I invite the House Councillors of C.V. Raman House, Mr. Vincent Matthew and Mrs. Bhavya Vijalesh, to introduce the House Prefects, House Vice Captain, and House Coordinator. Thank you.
Good evening to all. I'm very happy to introduce the House Prefects of C.V. Raman House for the year 2022-23. Akil Aslam, Aman Rehman T.H., Ashmal Ayub, Akshay Ajit, Prathamesh Pansal, Keina Mariam Sojan, Nandana Ramesh, Badul Makbul Hussain, Hargun Kaur, Shiva Sangaran, N.R. Sri Lashmi, R.J. Haranya, Diya Pradeep, Mohammad Rashad, Neha Elsa Reggie, and Monisha Sindil Kumar. Thank you.
I am extremely happy to introduce our House Vice Captain, Adil Ali Arikel, House Captain, Basha Teres Destin, House Coordinator, Aishwarya Babu. Congratulations and all the best, dear children. Now, may I invite the House Councillors of Tagore House, Mr. Ratin Krishna and Mrs. Nagarthi to introduce the House Prefect, House Vice Captain, and House Coordinators. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bhavya. Good evening to all. I'm profoundly honored and delighted to introduce the House Prefects of Tagore House. Rohit Vinod, Austin D. Kuna, Ansela Shajan, Stephen Reno, Hasmatul Hasina Sheikh Mir, Joel Bijoy, Mahi Rohit, Anju A, Joanna P. Alex, Asin Mary Matthew, Ria Elizabeth Verghese, Bhumika KP, Nakshatra Rajesh Kumar, and Gianna Louisa Joy. Congratulations on your achievement.
It's my pleasure to introduce our Vice Captain, Siddharth Soumya Shankar, House Captain, Aditya Anil, House Coordinator, Surya Satish. Congratulations all. Now, I invite House Councillors of Vivekananda House, Mrs. Susan Anil and Mr. Rahul V. to introduce their House Prefects, Vice Captain and their Captains. Thank you.
It's my proud privilege to introduce the House Prefects, Vice Captain, Captain, House Coordinator of the Vivekananda House for the academic year 2022-23. The House Prefects are Joel Sujit, Shri Govind M, Amira Shafir, Joel M. Libu, Shri Hari Shrijit, Janvi Vigilesh, Jai Shri Jai Kumar, Sean Sargent, Trisa Clement, Ahana Ghosh, Aparna Rajiv, Neeraja Pramod Nair, Meghanjana A.M., Aditya Satish, Alfonsa Joseph, and Marin Francis.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my privilege to introduce the House Vice Captain of Vivekananda House, Priyanshi Rastogi, House Captain Fida Yusuf, and House Coordinator Aisha Lina Rehas. Thank you and congratulations to all.
Thank you, sirs and ma'ams, for doing the honors. We now have our young, energetic leaders ready to pledge their oath of office with promise that they would carry out their duties with integrity, faith, and excellence. I request our principal to kindly administer the oath to the newly formed school cabinet. Council, kindly stand.
The ceremonial heads and other members of the Student Council of Indian School Dasit, please raise your right arm forward to take oath and accept the honor and responsibility this institution intends to confer upon you. Please repeat the pledge after me. We solemnly pledge to discharge our duties loyally and faithfully to the best of our ability, for the glory and honor of our institution. We shall always endeavor to serve with pride and honor those entrusted to our care in the best tradition of the school, and to be worthy of the trust placed in us. So help us God. Thank you.
It is indeed a defining moment. Thank you, sir. Council, kindly be seated. Donning the mantle of accountability, these leaders have pledged to bestow their duties to the best of their abilities. We hope they will uphold the values of the school by discharging their duties honestly. The Student Council induction is a moment of pride and an unforgettable day for all office bearers as they stand as leaders before their parents, teachers, and fellow mates. Young leaders, with great power comes great responsibilities. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. I now invite our chief guest, Mrs. Ashwini Savrikar, Finance Director, Board of Directors, and Mr. Sebastian Chungat, President, School Management Committee, to confer our office bearers with badges and sashes. May I request our principal and our vice principal to escort the dignitaries to the dais. The ceremonial heads and general prefix will be conferred with the badges by our honorable chief guest. The sashes will be adorned on by the president of the School Management Committee. I invite Mr. Lal A. Pillai, Head of Department, Co-Scholastics, to kindly read out the names.
Head boy, Maganta Dinesh. Sports Captain John Adams Kurian. Culture Secretary Rebecca and Jacob. IT Secretary Nathaniel George Philip. Literary Secretary Aisha Nizar Hussain. Health, Safety and Environment Secretary Delvin Rochelle Robo. Deputy Head Boy Ashwath S. Nair. Deputy Sports Captain Abhyuday Koiparbil. Deputy Sports Captain Rabia Khalid. Deputy Cultural Secretary Angel Joseph. Deputy IT Secretary Ebi Jacob Varghese. Deputy Literary Secretary Manaswi S. Praveen. Assistant Head Boy M. Ram Prasad. Assistant Head Girl Haya Aisha Rafiq. General Prefix Austin Sam Anil. Kavya Jaykumar. Yadu Krishna Balakrishnan. Amal Krishna. Anamika E. Baiju. Elizabeth Gigi. Krishna Priya Manoj. Anavadya Rajesh. Archita Haridas. Rushda Safan. House Coordinator Babu House, Fida Mariam Siat. House Captain A. Ramalakshmi. House Coordinator C.V. Raman House, Aishwarya Babu. House Captain Varsha Therese Justin. Vice Captain Adil Ali. House Coordinator Tagore House, Surya Satish. House Captain Aditya Anil. Vice Captain Siddharth Soumya Shankar. House Coordinator Vivekananda House, Aisha Lina Raihas. House Captain Fida Yusuf. Vice Captain Priyanshi Rastogi. Thank you, sirs and ma'ams.
Thank you, ma'am and sirs, for doing the honors. We proceed with the badge awarding ceremony to the House Prefects. May I request respective House Councillors to give the badges and sashes to their respective House Prefects.
Oh, okay. जाति पाति का छोड़ो भेद, मिलकर कदम बढ़ाना। जाति पाति का छोड़ो भेद, मिलकर कदम बढ़ाना। इंसानियत हमारी पहचान, यही जगत को समझाना, यही जगत को समझाना। जाति पाति का छोड़ो भेद, मिलकर कदम बढ़ाना, इंसानियत हमारी पहचान, यही जगत को समझाना, यही जगत को समझाना। भूत भविष्य की छोड़ो चिंता, वर्तमान में कदम बढ़ाना, भूत भविष्य की छोड़ो चिंता, वर्तमान में कदम बढ़ाना। ये सीखा है हमने, ये सबको सिखलाना, ये सीखा है हमने, ये सबको सिखलाना। IAS है हम, IAS है हम, IAS है हम। ईमानदारी से जीवन बिताना, बेईमानी की कभी न खाना, ईमानदारी से जीवन बिताना, बेईमानी की कभी न खाना। ये सीखा है हमने, ये सबको बदलाना, ये सीखा है हमने, ये सबको बदलाना। एकता में होती शक्ति, इस राह पर कदम बढ़ाना, एकता में होती शक्ति, इस राह पर कदम बढ़ाना। यही मूल मंत्र है जीवन का, यही सबको समझाना, यही सबको समझाना। IAS है हम, IAS है हम, IAS है हम। जाति पाति का छोड़ो भेद, मिलकर कदम बढ़ाना, जाति पाति का छोड़ो भेद, मिलकर कदम बढ़ाना। इंसानियत हमारी पहचान, यही जगत को समझाना, यही जगत को समझाना। जाति पाति का छोड़ो भेद, मिलकर कदम बढ़ाना, जाति पाति का छोड़ो भेद, मिलकर कदम बढ़ाना। इंसानियत हमारी पहचान, यही जगत को समझाना, यही जगत को समझाना।
Thank you, sirs and ma'ams, for doing the honors. The lyrics of the song ISDN's Hai Hum was written by Mrs. Harjinder Kaur Hara, teacher, Department of Hindi, and music composed by Mr. Suresh K. Nair, our music teacher. A lady of distinct vision, an idol of knowledge and experience and inspiration to all of us. It's with high esteem and privilege I invite our honorable chief guest, Mrs. Ashwini Savrikar, Finance Director, Board of Directors, Sultanate of Oman, to deliver the keynote address. May I request our principal to escort the chief guest to the dais.
Wow, what a gathering here. President, Mr. Sebastian Chungat, Vice President, Mrs. Beena, Convener, Mr. Ajit Vasudevan, members of School Management Committee, School Principal, Mr. Amma Srivastava, Vice Principal, Head of Departments, teachers, parents, and most importantly, my dear students, the leaders who are being invested today. Good evening to all of you. It gives me great pleasure to be part of today's celebration and recognition being conferred on the elected or selected student leaders. At this juncture, I would like to dwell upon this term, leader or leadership, to lead. So what does it really mean? So simply put, to lead means to influence or to guide other individuals, and it is used in context of teams, groups, organizations, and even nations. So what does it take to be a leader? Extending the definition of to lead, one can say that a leader is someone who guides and who influences. I have a question for all of you. Do you always need a position or a title to lead? How many of you say yes? How many of you say no? So I guess it's unanimous. We'll come to the answer. There's one more question. So does a person who has a certain position or a title, is he or she always perceived to be a leader? Who says yes? Most of you say no? Okay, so I think again we have most of them as saying no. So have you heard the term leading by example? I'm sure you've heard of that. Let's say there's a girl or a boy in your class and is good at something, really good at something, maybe in academics or in some sport, in art, or maybe the person is just an extremely good human being, a to-go person, someone whom everybody else can rely on. So what would you call such a person? Everybody would be admiring such a person, right? So these are the people who are leaders in themselves. The moment you admire another person, the moment you feel like following a person, that person is leading by his or her example, and that moment the person becomes a leader. So does that person always need a title? The answer is no. So in my opinion, when you are good at something, when you influence the people around you, you earn respect from them, people feel like following your footsteps, you automatically become a leader, whether you have a title position or no. This brings me to the second part of my talk, and the second question which I asked. So does a person who has a certain position or title automatically become a leader? So most of you said no. So let's look at, again, an example. Well, I know most of you, you are all school students, but there are some parents here, and there are teachers who are working in an organization. And when people work in organizations, they have bosses. So how do people talk about their bosses? Does everybody always say good about their bosses? No, right? I can see most of the heads nodding as no. So a boss is a person who is in a certain position of authority. Well, in front of the boss, maybe most of them would be very nice, very sweet, very kind. But behind the boss, behind his or her back, people may not always be saying good things about him. So does every subordinate always respect his or her boss? And the answer is no. So the simple point I'm trying to make here is that because a person has a position of authority or a respectable title, it does not mean that the person is a real influencer or a real leader. So some of you might be thinking, why am I talking about these things when it's your day of investiture ceremony to be in the student council, right? So my dear young friends, I am very proud of you. You have earned these positions today. But please remember, to be a true leader, you need to lead by example. A position may be conferred or a title may have been given as a process of selection or election. But to earn the real respect from your classmates, you should not throw your weight around. Rather, you should show it from your behavior. And that's how they should follow you. Be the real influencers. With authority comes responsibility. And authority without a responsibility can be very dangerous. To become responsible leaders, you need to first understand what are your duties, and only after that you need to know what are your authorities. The authorities have been given to you so that you are able to fulfill your duties. Let this investiture ceremony of today, where you all have been officially given your leader titles, be the beginning of the making of genuine leaders, true influencers, respectable leaders. Let that respect from others come to you because of your deeds and not because you are holding this position or this title. Fulfill your duties to the best and make the most of this role being given to you. Make a difference for the benefit of your classmates, for the benefit of your school. This is what will certainly make you an influencer and a true leader. My dear friends, this will prepare you for the bigger leadership positions when you enter the real world after leaving your school and your colleges. In closing, I would like to thank the school for for inviting me for this investiture ceremony. And from the bottom of my heart, I give you, today's student leaders, my best wishes for all your future endeavors. Cheers to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for those inspirational words. May I request our chief guest to be on stage. As a token of our gratitude and appreciation, we would like to present a memento to our honorable chief guest. It's my privilege to invite Mr. Sebastian Chungat, President, School Management Committee, to do the honors and request our principal to join him.
Thank you, sirs, for doing the honors. Thank you, ma'am. In this solemn occasion, we believe the young students are all prepared to take up the mantle of leadership and discharge the responsibilities entrusted upon them by the school. It's indeed my pleasure to call upon the newly elected head boy, Maganda Dinesh, to present his acceptance speech.
Dianne Feinstein said, 90% of leadership is the ability to communicate something people want. Honorable Chief Guest, Mrs. Ashwini Saurika, Finance Director, Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman. Mr. Sebastian Chungat, President, School Management Committee, and other esteemed members of School Management Committee. Respected Principal, Mr. Amar Srivastava, Vice Principal, Mrs. Geeta Chauhan, Assistant Vice Principal Operations, Dr. Jacob Pratapraj, coordinators, heads of various departments, teachers, my fellow office bearers, and my dear friends. A very good evening to one and all. The moment I came to know I had been bestowed with the coveted position of head boy of this prestigious institution, Indian School Dasit, for the year 2022-23, my joy knew no bounds. I was speechless and my heart was pounding with astonishment. All of a sudden, a huge responsibility dawned upon me, which seemed less of a burden and more of a joy. I express my sincere gratitude to the principal, vice principal, HODs and teachers for believing in me and giving me this wonderful opportunity to serve the school. I would like to thank the entire school management, which has shown immense faith in me by selecting me as the head boy. Today, I pledge to be sincere in my duties. I'll abide by the school rules and ensure that discipline reigns in every nook and corner of our school. I stand here as a leader, not just to lead you, but to work in collaboration with each one of you to fulfill the vision of IST. I am very grateful to have an excellent squad to form an eminent student council cabinet for the year 2022-23. Our service, our actions, and our commitment is what molds the school. Teamwork divides the task, multiplies the success. So let's join our hands together to work with team spirit. We will give our best to make this academic year a memorable one for the IST fraternity. And last, but not the least, I sincerely thank all my dear friends for trusting me. I promise to work hard with all my zeal, devotion, and determination. As quoted by John F. Kennedy, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. We learn as leaders, and leadership learns us. Let's rise together to scale up greater heights. Thank you.
Thank you, Maganda Dinesh. And congratulations, leaders. It's my privilege to invite Mr. Sebastian Chungat, President, School Management Committee, to address the gathering. May I request our principal to escort our president onto the dais.
Respected Chief Guest of the day, Mrs. Ashwini Saurika, my colleagues in the School Management Committee, respected Amar Srivastava, the Principal of Indian School Darsite, Vice Principals, AVP, coordinators, teachers, non-teaching staff, dear parents, and my dear children, a very good evening to all of you. I didn't hear anything. Thank you very much. How many of you have seen the movie Spider-Man? I hope everybody might have seen. There is a small quote in the movie which is already been told once or twice now. Can you recollect that one? Yeah, fine. So this is a day for you. Now you are endowed with a greater power. And do you remember the context in which that quote is mentioned in the movie? What is the context in which that quote is given in the movie? Don't remember? Yeah. Head boy, please, go on. Louder. He was doing some mischiefs in the college. He was fighting with his friends, I don't know, because of that additional power he has received. So while he was coming back from the college, his uncle Ben was telling him this. With additional powers comes more responsibility, right? So now this power which has been endowed on you is to not to pound on your friends, right? It is to help them around. So I was just, to prepare this talk, I was searching some books. So I came across one book which is titled The 7 Heavenly Virtues of Leadership by Carolyn Barker, an Australian management personality. If you find time, please do search on it and please do read. So in that book, he's giving 7 qualities to be a leader. Certainly, our chief guests have given you a few tips. So I would touch upon this 7 qualities of being a leader. It applies not only to be a leader, but also in your life. Some qualities which you can pursue in the life. The first one, and the most important, is humility. Many a times, leaders forget about it. Normally, when the power comes, they become more stubborn. They take the help of that power and dictate terms to the team. But in this particular book, The author is emphasizing on humility. And there is also another book, The Service Leadership. Basically, it is a religious book, wherein which the same concept is emphasized. As a leader, you are going to be on service. So now you are going to be on service for this crowd of around 2,700 children of Indian school Dasit. It's a great honor, it's a great moment, and it's a great responsibility. The second virtue which is mentioned is courage. There may be many challenges which you may face during this tenure of being the prefects in the school. And there may be sometimes you may have to stand and speak for your friends. Maybe in front of principal, maybe in front of the teachers, maybe to your fellow students, to protect the best interests of the school. So be courageous to speak up. The next is integrity, which is very important again in the concept of leadership. What is integrity? Can you say? What is integrity? Please try something. Nothing comes out. Have you heard walk the talk? Walk the talk. Walk the talk. Have you heard? What is it? Yes? Nothing comes out again. Now, many times we say many principles in our life. We have to do that, we have to do this. But when it comes into action, we do something else. Maybe to make our friends to join with us, to get some applause from others, to get some encouragement from others, we do the ulta, the reverse of which is from our conscience, we say the right. So that is called integrity. You have to walk the talk. So when you say in your inner conscience says, this is the right and this is the right thing to do, please take the courage to walk it. The fourth is compassion. Compassion to your fellow beings, not only within the school, in the society. There may be many instances you may come across people who need help physically, mentally, financially. Be compassionate. The next is humor. What is humor? To laugh, right? So as a leader, you need to have a special skill to make people to laugh. It is not just giggling around. That is not the laugh what we mean here. It is an inner feeling of happiness which you need to give to your fellow students, maybe to your teachers, maybe at home with your parents, your siblings, maybe your friends in the society. And you should be in a position when somebody is stressed out, you should come out with some kind of maybe a small joke or maybe some lighter words by which that stress is boiled down. And there is a sense of happiness among the team. So you need to have a skill of being humorous. The next is passion. Passion for excellence. Do you remember the vision of Indian School Dasit? What is the vision of Indian School Dasit? Yeah. So what does it mean? We are walking towards excellence. Our vision, maybe in the few years down the line. We want our school to be the most preferred school in Oman. That means it's excellence. So we need to have that passion to overcome the difficulties, the challenges which may come across. As a student, what could be the challenges which you may come across in this path of excellence? As a student, as a teachers, they have a different set of challenges. For the principal, it may be a different set of challenges. For parents, it will be a different set of challenges. So as a student, what is the challenges you may face in the path of excellence? Yes, please, louder. Studies, very good. Any other? Yes? Discipline, fantastic. Come on, all of you are leaders. No, you should take the courage at least to stand up and say a word. Time management, good. Co-curricular activities. There may be many events which will be held in the school. You need to take the leadership to run behind it, to make it as the best program within the school. So there are many challenges as a student which you need to take, which will ultimately lead your alma mater. Maybe in few years you will leave this school. For the grade 12, it is the last year, and maybe for the 5th standard, you have another 6 more years. But over the years, you need to make sure that Indian school site is the most preferred Indian school, which is looked after by the Indian diaspora, or even nowadays we take foreign students into our school. So as an international school, maybe down the line. And the final virtue which is told in that book is wisdom. Wisdom about knowing things. The wisdom of knowledge to take right decisions, which is good for the society, which is good for the society, for the school, and people around you. So these are the 7 virtues which is basically mentioned in that particular book. So I try to imbibe these virtues into you. Please, if time permits and if you get access to this book, please read through it. It's a very good book to read and to understand the concepts of leadership. Because many times when you go for leadership books and all, they will say you should have leadership skills, that skill, this skill. But this gives a totally different picture of leadership skills. So my heartiest congratulations to each and one of you. And on behalf of the School Management Committee, I take my all honor to appreciate and wish you all the best in the next coming year, and to lead this school to much more glory and honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for those encouraging words, and hope our leaders will walk the talk. I invite the school choir with an inspirational song, We Can Achieve.
Tomorrow, just believe, just believe. We have a goal by saying that's it. We can achieve, we can achieve. You and me, we'll do our part. Hand together, heart to heart. We are going to show the world what our school can be. We can achieve, we can achieve. There is something down the road that we can strive for. We are told no dreams to hold that we can try for. There's a spirit in the air. a feeling we all share. We are going to show the world what our school can be. We can achieve, we can achieve. You and me will do our part. Stand together, heart to heart. We are going to show the world what our school can be. We can achieve, we can achieve, we can achieve.
Thank you, friends, for the beautiful rendition. A leader recognizes the value of hard work and encourages everyone's potential through meaningful challenges and goals. It is with due respect I invite Mr. Ajit Vasudevan, convener and head academic and staff welfare and grievances subcommittees, to inspire our newly elected council members. May I request a principal to escort our convener onto the dais.
You know, I have this problem. If I have to stand in front of a few people and talk something, I get very nervous, honestly. And then one way of overcoming this jittery feeling, you know how it is, the butterflies in the stomach and things like that, is I walk around. I can see somebody nodding. You get the same thing? Sometimes. The next time you do it, what you do is you walk around like I walk now. It helps, okay? And the second thing you need to do is, or rather what I do is, I hold a piece of paper in my hand. There's nothing in it, but I just hold it because it gives me some confidence. Any of you ever tried that? Yes? Who said yes? No. Anyways, Madam Ashwini, President Sebastian, my colleagues in the school SMC, principals, all the other teaching, non-teaching staff of ISD, parents. I think I'm the only guy who can see you all eye to eye today. And all of the smart leaders of ISD. Good evening to you all. I have been told to give a motivational speech today. And honestly, it's a very tough task for me because I don't know how I motivate already highly motivated, talented, capable guys like you. It's a very tough task for me. So it makes me all the more nervous, and you will see me walking a bit faster as I talk. So what I would do is probably, tell you things that I have learned over the years. I've seen quite a few moons than most of you here, or rather all of you here. So there's quite a bit of chit-chat that I can do with you guys and tell you what I have learned. And if you find any of that is useful for you or makes sense to you, please keep it in mind and try your best to follow whatever you feel is worth it. The rest of it, ignore as gyan given by an old man. Fair enough? Fair enough? Is it okay? It sounds like a plan? Perfect. Maganda. Maganda Dinesh. Yeah? How are you? You're good? And all of you guys, you know what? To be honest, I'm jealous of each one of you. All of you. You know, all of you wearing the... You know why I'm jealous of each one of you? You don't know. It's because, you know, when I was studying in school, I always wanted to be a student council member, if not the head boy. And I never did. I was never a student council member. I was never a head boy. I never got to wear the badge that you're wearing today. I never, believe me, in the entire 12 years that I studied in ISM, by the way, the entire 12 years that I studied there, 12 plus kg, so 14 years that I studied there, not even once did I stand on the stage of the school. Can you believe that? Yes or no? No. Believe me, it's on. It's a fact. I not even once I had the courage to stand on the stage like I'm doing now, like each one of you did a few minutes ago. I never did it. I was never a student council member. I never had the guts to stand for the election, or nothing like that. So what I'm trying to tell you is all of you have already achieved more than what I could achieve. Don't you think so? Yes or no? Yes. So now imagine my plight. I have to motivate you guys. You get what I mean? Anyways, so first of all, hearty congratulations to each one of you. Okay, the responsibility bestowed on you is serious. It's not a joke, obviously. Okay, because you know the meaning of the word prefect? Anybody here knows the meaning of the word prefect? Anybody? You can make a guess. Yes. A leader. A perfect leader. Good guess. You're nearabouts there. Anybody, any other guesses? Anybody sitting in the back? What do you think a prefect means? Anybody among the parents? Nobody? Okay. Prefect, comes from a Latin word. And it actually, literal meaning of the word, or the origins of the word, is to put in the front. To place someone in the front. So whom do you put in the front? Who do you put in the front? You put the leader in the front, right? So that's how the concept of a prefect being a leader, or somebody who leads, who guides the rest of the people behind them. That person is called a prefect. Clear? Yes. So each one of you has been identified, selected, elected, and finally installed to be the face of the school. You come in front of everything that ISD does. And if you mess it up, whose name gets spoiled? Whose? No, yours. First, your name gets spoiled. And secondly, no, your parents. Third, teachers. And finally, Because this is what ISD is. It's all of you, your parents, teachers. This is what ISD is. Right? So it's a serious responsibility that you guys have. Keep that in mind. I'm not saying this to scare you. It's nothing scary. But then you are the face of the school. Learn to do your responsibilities with passion. Because that's what see, I'm nervous. That's what makes somebody different. The passion with which you do things. And you guys are already there. You've been selected and identified for it. So all you need to do is have the passion within you to do what is assigned to you. Be honest. Be honest not just to the institution or to the teachers. First and foremost, be honest to yourself. Every time I did something I was not supposed to do, my heart told me, Ajit, you're not supposed to do this. Does that happen to you guys? Yes? Every time you watched that YouTube video without your parents knowing it, did your mind tell you, did your heart tell you that you're not supposed to do it? Yes or no? Yes. So listen to your heart. It's important. My heart told me, your heart told you. So there's something common, right? The heart tells us, and we call it our conscience. Learn to listen to your conscience. Understand when the heart tells you what is right and what is wrong. Because most of the times, our heart knows better. And all we need to do is listen to what our heart says. So be honest to yourself. Learn or cultivate the nature of being of integrity. You know what integrity is? Can any of you tell me what integrity is? No? Come on, Maganda. See, you always get into trouble. Now you're the head boy. Okay, so if nobody answers, you'll have to. What do you think is integrity? Yeah. You're right, you're right. I mean, be honest and have, listen to your conscience and do work. Do the things that you feel is right. That's what, in short, integrity is all about. As long as you do what you feel is the right thing to be done, you're safe. Yeah? Can I look at the paper? Okay. The last and the foremost thing, okay. I probably should have told this in the beginning, but then I forgot, honestly. It is very important. There is a word, a very simple word. When you, each one of you, if you hear the name of your mother, what is the one word that comes to you? One word. If I ask you to tell me that one word that comes to your mind, if I call out your mother's name, or you hear your mother's name be called out, what would be that one word? Can any of you tell me? Sorry? I heard the same word resonating. It's love. Now the whole world, okay, the entire world is built on just that one word. And it is that same word which creates problems. So learn to love. I'm not just talking about the boyfriend-girlfriend kind of love, which is good enough, but I'm talking more about a human being to human being kind of love. You able to understand what I'm saying? Okay, so it is that love that we have. See, nobody on earth is bad. You think anybody is bad? No. Okay, we need to, and it's only question of how we understand people, how we can, read people's mind. When you see somebody, there is a kind of a feeling that you get. There's a kind of, a vibe that you get, right? For example, when you see me, what is the vibe that you get? Can anybody tell me what you feel when you see me? What is the vibe you get? Sorry? Expired. Inspired. Okay. Anybody else? What do you feel when you see this guy here? Nervous. Yes. What else? Charismatic. Okay. What else? Friendly. Okay. Good. So luckily I could get all positive vibes. So basically you get positive vibes when you see me? Yes? Do you get the same vibes when you see your principal? Why are you laughing? The point I'm trying to make is, every person gives us some kind of a vibe, right? Be it me, be it anybody. Be it your principal, your parents, your friends, everybody gives. So some people give us positive vibes, some people give us negative vibes, right? Now, who do you want to, interact more with? Positive vibes. I was going to ask, your principal or me? And what is the answer? Principal. Me. Okay. So, learn to give the positive vibes that you can. It's simple. It's not difficult. Life is not that hard that you need to sweat out and be tensed. You can keep smiling, no matter what. Life has its own course, right? So learn to give those positive vibes to your schoolmates, your classmates. Learn to love them, guide them, be a role model for them. Be honest to yourself. Stand up for what you feel is right. And then you become a person worthy of being a leader. So all of you are worthy of being it. You've been identified to be a leader. Why? Because your teachers have seen the qualities in you and they know that you can do it. So all you need to do is what? Is what? Do it. Right? Okay. So now I wouldn't bore you any much more. I will just tell you a small story. This was actually narrated by Eleanor Roosevelt. Do you know who Eleanor Roosevelt was or is? Anybody? It's a writer. Okay. Any of you know who's Eleanor Roosevelt? Okay. Eleanor Roosevelt was the first lady of US. She was the wife of a US president. Yeah? Now, the story goes like this. Okay. This is an old story, very many years ago. There was a man. He was a very honest, sincere, hardworking, God-fearing man. Now the problem is, he had a son who was lazy. He never wanted to go to work or study, or he was always sleeping and lazing around at home. So years went by, the boy grew up. He was still the same, sitting at home and not doing anything. And the man was growing old, and he was highly worried. Now, how is this boy of mine going to take care of himself? Because you can't make a living sleeping at home, right? You have to go out and work and make money to feed yourself. So after a lot of pondering and thinking and all that, the father came out with a solution. He went to his son and told him, "My dear son, I will give you a bag. Yeah? You take this bag and do as per the instructions given in the bag. So the boy said, oh, fine, thanks. So the boy took the bag, he opened the bag, and he saw that there was some money in the bag. There were some clothes, and there was a map. Now the father said, the map will show you the route you need to take to a treasure. So you follow the map, go there to wherever the map was pointing you to, and take the treasure. It's all yours, and you make a living out of it. The boy was very happy. He said, lottery lag gayi. Now I just need to go take the treasure and chill for the rest of my life. So the boy set out on the journey. Yeah, he took the bag, he set out on the journey, and he had a little bit of supplies like food and things like that with him, and he started traveling. Now he traveled far and wide. You know, he had to travel for days together, but he was very anxious and eager because he needed to go as soon as possible and get the treasure. So he traveled. It took him 4 or 5 days. He finally reached the point that was marked in the map. It was a cliff. So he stood on the top of the cliff, and then he studied the map, and it said there is a treasure which is under a tree, which is at the bottom of the cliff. Now, with a lot of difficulty, the boy, he climbed down, he went to the tree, he searched everywhere, he searched under the tree, around the tree, on top of the tree, he searched everywhere, he couldn't find anything. Now, he searched for a couple of days, he got frustrated, he couldn't find anything. He said, khalas, there's no treasure here, probably my dad was fooling me. And he set back, he started going back home. Now, on the way back home, he wasn't anxious. He wasn't, in a hurry, because he had reached where he had to reach and found that there's nothing. So he was cool. He stopped at different places. He talked to people. He played with the boys and the children in the villages, and he found that the people were very helpful. He stayed overnight with some families. The people, they gave him food. So he, enjoyed the entire journey back, and he came home. And then he went to his father and told him, Father, I went to the place that you showed on the map. But, sorry, Father, there was no treasure there. I failed. So why did you send me there? I couldn't find a treasure there. So the father told him, my son, there was no treasure there in the first place. All I wanted you to learn is that all our life, we chase a treasure. We keep chasing. We have a particular objective, or we have a set of objectives that we want. We keep chasing it. We don't have the time to stop and enjoy the moment. We don't have the interest to talk to people, to understand, basically there's no enjoyment. We just keep chasing. And once the boy realized that there's nothing for him to chase, he realized that my life is blessed. Now I'm not anxious at all. And when I start interacting with people, I find the people are very nice and loving, and life is much more beautiful. So what is it that you understand out of this? One thing that I understand is, life is not, we make life more serious than it actually is. Okay? Life is pretty simple. Learn to enjoy it, every moment of it. Yeah? You think it makes sense? And once you start living your life, you will realize what a valuable, how blessed we all are to have this life, to live here on this earth with whatever we have, and learn to be, to express gratitude for all that we have. Isn't it? Are we all thankful for all that we have? I don't see the confidence. Are we all grateful and thankful? Yes. Okay. There was a doctor called Dr. Christian Barnard. He's the guy who did the first open heart surgery. Okay. There's a sentence that he said, which I keep repeating to myself. Life is a celebration of being alive. Every moment you live, understand that you're celebrating the fact that you're alive. Right? Anybody who doesn't understand that sentence? Clear? Okay. So, did I bore you enough? Have the positive vibes gone down? No? All right. Okay, my dear friends, once again, let me wish you all the very best. Yeah, there's a lot of trust and responsibility that the school has, bestowed on each one of you. And we are confident that you will make us proud. We have absolutely no doubt in that. And keep focused, be honest, and keep loving. Right? Okay. All the best, all of you. Thank you very much. Yes, my dear. Sure. How does the paper help me? I'll tell you. Now I don't have the paper, yeah? You know how it helps me? You know? Now I take the paper, yeah? Did I answer your question? No. No? You want me to do it again? I have the paper. I keep the paper in the pocket. Now, I'm talking to all of you. Do you see a difference? What is the difference? My dear, I'm nervous, I'm shivering. So by holding the paper in my hand, I hide the shivering. Make sense? Anything else anybody else wants to ask me and make me feel more nervous? Nothing? Okay. It was nice talking to all of you. Once again, I wish all the best to all of you. God bless you all. And a hearty thanks to your parents, each one of them. Keep loving them. No matter what you do, make them proud. Make ISD proud. God bless you all. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the motivational talk. I hope these leaders will learn to do things with passion. Great leaders don't set out to be a leader. They set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, but always about the goal. When we express our gratitude, we must not forget that the highest appreciation is not simply utter words, but live by them. I request our Cultural Secretary, Rebecca and Jacob, to mark the closure of this event by proposing the vote of thanks.
A very delightful evening to one and all present here today. As Cultural Secretary of our school, it is my proud privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the entire family of Indian School Dasit to all those who made this ceremony a memorable one. On behalf of the ISD family, I would like to thank our Honorable Chief Guest for the day, Mrs. Ashwini Saurikar, Finance Director, Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman. Your presence has been a source of motivation and inspiration for all of us. We thank you, ma'am, for making this event a memorable one. We are indeed grateful to Mr. Sebastian Chungat, President of the School Management Committee, for his timely guidance and constant support for this function. Your encouragement and presence will be cherished by us. Thank you, sir. We would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Ajit Vasudevan, Convener, School Management Committee, who graced us with his presence and guidance. We thank you, sir, for the motivating words you have provided us with. We would also like to thank Mrs. Blessy Diana Shijin, Vice President, and Dr. Kurian Abraham, Treasurer, and all the other esteemed members of the School Management Committee for gracing this occasion with their benign presence. We wish to express our sincere gratitude to our beloved Principal, Mr. Amar Srivastav. Your constant encouragement always motivated us. Thank you, sir, for all the wisdom you shared with us. We would also like to extend our gratitude to our beloved Vice Principal, Mrs. Geeta Chauhan, for always guiding, supporting, and motivating us. Thank you, ma'am. We would like to extend our earnest gratitude to the AVP operations, coordinators, heads of various departments, and other staff of ISD for their efforts and hard work for making this program a grand success. We would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to all our parents. Your presence and blessings for all of us enables us to do our best. A big thank you to all our beloved teachers, without whom we could not have made it up till here. With deep sense of appreciation, we recall the efforts of Mr. Lal A. Pillai, Head of Co-Scholastic, for the support, guidance, and overall supervision of this event. Thank you, sir. We would like to recall and thank the efforts of Mrs. Sunita Rajiv and Mrs. Sindhu Nair, student council in charges, who have been instrumental in the planning of this program. Thank you, ma'ams. A heartfelt thank you to our proficient comparing team. We would like to thank all the members of our school choir trained by our music teachers for making this event a melodious one. We would also like to thank our ICT department teachers and technical support staff for their sincere efforts. Special thanks to our teachers from the PE department for their support extended. We are indeed glad that we are the leaders in the making for the future. Congratulations to all the newly invested office bearers. like to bring my thanks to a closing by borrowing the words of Warren Bennis. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Rebecca. Kindly rise for the Royal Anthem of Oman and the National Anthem of India.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय गाता जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
We are extremely thankful to our chief guests and all guests for having spared their valuable time to be a part of this important annual event, the Investiture Ceremony 2022-23. Thank you all for gracing this occasion. Good night.